switched at birth. I mean, she does everything. She is the lovely, she is our density. She is Miss Leah Thompson. There's a lot of people out here. Okay, I think you know our next guest. And you know what? This man has said the words Great Scott to us so many times. How about we give him one? As I introduce him, one big, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Great Scott!
Mr. Christopher Lloyd.
He's not tall enough to sit on the high chair.
Sure, thought for mine. That's what they told me. So, all right. One more person. 5-time Emmy winner, Family Ties, Spin City, Doc Hollywood, Secret of My Success. He may not have been the first, but he is the one true, only Marty McFly, Mr. Michael J. Fox.
I hadn't thought about it because I never directly connected it to me. I never knew that there was any interest in me. So, you know, I wanted to play Gandhi, but they weren't looking for me. I was ready for any job, but I wanted to do a film, and so it wasn't really. When Gary mentioned it to me again, it completely gone. Oh yeah, that's the one with Crispin. Crispin didn't get fired, did he? So I was happy about that, and
that's another conversation.
But it was just an amazing mitzvah. It was just a great thing that happened to me, and I'm really grateful. Super honored.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. You had the talent.
Ridiculous stuff. I mean, nobody wants to get the pipe. No one wants to get the pipe. No one wants to lay the pipe and get all the exposition out there and get all the explanations of how things work and the rules of the film. But Chris did that brilliantly. He made it an art form. He made it like, this model is crude. and I was just astounded. I was just saying, this guy lays pipe, and it's the funniest thing I've ever heard. He's a genius at it, and that's why the film worked. Ultimately, because there were so many rules you had to understand, and so many nuances that you had to pick up on. And because of Chris, we all got it. We all got it explained to us in an entertaining way, and it was just brilliant. And I'm amazed at it.
So when they decided that they were going to push, you know, we had to wrap, and the movie came out. How long after the wrap?
The movie was in theaters 9.5 weeks after we wrapped principal photography. And we ruined post-production schedules for every other movie for years and years, because the studio guys were saying, hey, those guys did it on Back to the Future. Why can't you get the movie in the theater in 10 weeks? We're giving you an extra half a week here.
When they did that, I could feel that obviously the studio was really excited about it. What about you guys?
I was just hoping we had a good opening night.
Yeah.
And that it had a decent run. And looking back on it now, it's phenomenal that we're all sitting here talking about it. You know, like,
Michael, you apologized for it, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I was in London doing Family Ties Goes to London, which was an epic. and the movie's opening in the States, and there was a screening for it, and I got a call from my agent who said he saw the movie. My first instinct was, I said, I'm sorry, I'll do better next time. I was out of my element, I didn't know, and he said, no, trust me, it's good, you'll like it. And then I came back after it had been opened, I didn't go to the premiere. I was completely being chased by Meredith Baxter Birney around London, and I came back and I went by the Cinerama Dome one day, and there was lines around the Cinerama Dome is a big theater in Hollywood, and it just lines around the building, and I just thought, wow, my life is going to change, and it did. It was nice.
I tried to jam all this stuff into one screenplay, and it was really too much for one movie. And so I said to Bob one day, let me write this script the way, because we're introducing all these new characters towards the end of the movie, Clara and Mad Dog Tannen, and all the people that are in the Old West. We've never seen them before. Let me write it so that these characters get a chance to breathe and be introduced, and it was a 210-page script. And at that point, I said, we got enough material here to make two movies. Universal didn't want to hear about that because I actually floated the idea to them. We could make two movies right now, and they said, no, just make the one. The CEO of Universal was pissed off that we weren't going to have the movie out, part 2 out in time for summer of 1989, and he thought we were just blowing smoke up his ass, which we had done before.
Wasn't that quote that Bob would say, how can you as a man deliver this script to me?
Oh yeah, he said, this is, how can you as a man deliver this script to me that's the most expensive movie Universal will ever make? And we said, well, we think it'll make money, he said, just make one movie. But that's where the word started getting around. Well, could there be two movies here? And as we I kept rewriting it, and we kept rebudgeting it. Finally, it was clear that we had the conversation with Sheinberg later, where I actually had our production manager budget 2 movies instead of...
He came back and the guard was hitting on me.
I still have that wig if you want it back. Honestly, I have his blonde wig. I do.
That's cool. I have the boobs if you want it back.
And Chris, what they did for you was because you had to be aged forward in part 1 to play the older Doc Brown. Yeah. So in part 2, when you bring Marty to the future, Doc has undergone a little procedure. So you had your one chance to get rid of all that makeup, but as Michael said before, you had to deliver a lot of information. So
a lot of what?
Information in the scene, dialogue, as you were removing.
Yeah, that's perhaps my most satisfying take in my life. I had to wear the old age makeup, which was all this latex stuff, all over my eyelids, all over the place, and I had to speak a lot of lines in front of Doc Brown's typical, explaining the universe speeches, and remove all this makeup at the same time by catching it like down here, and as I'm talking, lift it so that it comes off in one piece. And if it didn't work out, then I'd have to go back to makeup for another 2 hours to have it all reapplied and redo it again. And miraculously, it worked in the one take.
Well, I could sit here for hours.
We talked a little bit about the scene, but we're so busy working. So in these events have allowed us to redevelop our friendship, which has really been great.
And Chris, was it good to have Marty by your side as Doc that time?
Oh, it was fabulous. The Jimmy Kimmel show, getting in the DeLorean backstage,
And the smoke.
Drive out and all the steam, the light, and the hoopla, which I assume was a surprise for everybody but us.
Yeah.
And it was just a real kick. And then we had this great scene together. It was wonderful. And then the times that we've done commercials and stuff for the car, each time was like a wonderful reunion. It's great.
Kiss me.
I feel like I'm in the middle, you guys. You know, it's chemistry.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, young lady?
Hi, this is for all of you. Do you like the technology in the Back to the Future's 2015 or the technology in the real 2015?
Leah, what about you?
Well, I don't know. I never really thought that there would be flying cars. I think people like somebody in a uniform. You know, they want the doors here and doors there. I think people are scared to fly, so I never thought there would be flying cars. So I think I appreciate the technology now. But I know that you guys were trying to make it fun. It wasn't like you're trying to predict the future. You were
That's right.
you were trying to make it funny and
We
bright.
were trying to make it funny. We were basing all of the technology on riffs on the scenes that were in the first movie. So people say, well, where did hoverboards come from? Well, they came about because we wanted to do a version of the skateboard chase in 2015, and it couldn't just be another skateboard chase. It had to be something a whole lot more futuristic than that. So, as Michael said, I think all of us would be lost today without our cell phones. We've come to rely so much on them. It's interesting. You think about when in 2045, when they make a movie about today, and you have a street scene, everybody's just going to be kind of hunched over, walking around like this.
Yeah, I noticed when I first moved to New York in the early 90s or late 80s, every block you'd be on, there'd be 13 people with a cigarette, and everyone have a smoke. And now you don't see anybody with a cigarette. You see them, but you see the same people with the cell phones. And it's like just addicting, and it's really funny, but it's been a real change. Like if you showed a scene from 1989, it would be completely different than what it is now, and it's just that subtle way.
Which one was the most fun for all of you to make together?
I like the 50s.
You like cowboy. You like
the
I
cow.
like the Western stuff.
It's just great stuff. It was so great.
Well, you had a girlfriend.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And her in the dress was just so. She was so sexy. I mean, it's the biggest dress I've ever seen, but somehow it was like just made her more sexy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Let's please give it up for our wonderful cast.
Thank you, guys.